Welcome back to another exciting video, and what we're talking about today, high-end guitars. Are they really worth the price? So I'm pretty much like every other guitar player in the world, and I go to the guitar store and I'll play pretty much everything that somewhat interests me, hanging on the wall. And inevitably, we always go to the high-end guitars. We're always going to the Les Pauls or the Paul Reed Smiths, the upper-end guitars. Andersons, if they have any. Suhrs, if they have any. And in my never-ending quest for guitars, and if you've seen any of my other videos, I've been playing the EVH Wolfgangs since 1996. And played them forever. And I have played and bought every guitar in this world, and I just couldn't find anything to replace my Wolfgangs. But I never played the Ibanez's. And then not too long ago, like I said, if you've seen my videos, I actually made a jump to the actually I bought the Nita Strauss first, and it was just, as much as I wanted to love that guitar, it was a horrible guitar, especially for the price point. It was just, I had 3 of them, and all 3 were terrible guitars. But I did end up getting, I actually sent the last one back, the third one, and I got the my Ibanez 1070 PBZ, which I have a video of, and it is just amazing. Granted, it was also made in Indonesia, where the Nita Strauss guitars were, but I guess whoever worked on my 1070 actually knew what they were doing, because whoever worked on the Nita Strauss guitars did not know what they were doing, because they were so bad. And I really, really wanted to like that guitar. So I'm really excited about her new one that's coming out. I believe it's called the X. And it is going to be made in Japan. So that one should be awesome. But more than likely, it's just going to be an S-Series Prestige with a couple of her appointments on it. Which is still cool because they're amazing guitars. But back to our story. Every time we go in, we inevitably play the really, really, really expensive guitars, and then knowing that we can't afford most of them, or we simply don't want to put that kind of money into a guitar. And I understand that, because being a gigging musician, you beat your guitars up, and I don't want to drop $5,000 on some kind of Artist Series PRS just to go out there and beat the hell out of it. So it makes it hard to justify spending that kind of money for it. But even if you did, let's say for the sake of argument, you did go in there and you say, you know what, this is the guitar for me, I'm buying this guitar, and I'm going to gig with this guitar. Is it really worth the $5,000? And I'm not talking about PRS exclusively, because I love PRS. I've never owned one, simply because I have never played a PRS that suits me. Never. And I've played them all, and I just cannot seem to find one that fits me. But as a company, I respect what they do, especially Paul Reed Smith, because when all this COVID crap started, everybody's sales hit the bottom. And instead of sending everybody home, sorry, got to lay you off, he said piss on it. He kept all of his employees working the entire time. He took a loss on the money. Oh well, he took care of his employees. That's what matters. That's why I love capitalism. That's why I love good guys. Because he did it his way, kept his employees at work, so I appreciate that. Side note there. So, I go out the other day and go to my usual suspects of guitar stores. And I go in and I start playing the guitars, and of course I do the same thing I always do. I'll play a couple PRSs, I'll play, a couple of the Suhrs, I can play an Anderson if I can find one, I'll play some of the Les Pauls, and you just kind of run the gamut of the high-end guitars. And it really kind of got me thinking, are these guitars worth the money they're charging for them? And I gotta be honest, I don't think they are. Now, I'm not saying they're bad guitars. I'm not saying that at all. Some of those guitars are absolutely amazing. But are they worth the money that we're actually paying for them, for what we're going to do with them? Now, if you wanted to buy some kind of limited run Les Paul because you're a collector and you paid 10 grand for it, I understand that. And I get that if you're a collector. Unless you just got money to burn, just to buy that guitar and gig with it on a weekly basis or a daily basis, I have a hard time swallowing that. And I've been down that road. I've done it. And then you put a big old scratch or dent in that guitar, and then you just feel sick. And me, I have some of the worst buyer's remorse in the world. If it's something that I truly need, that I can use to do what I do, then it's worth every penny. But I struggle when you get around that $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 price point on a guitar that I know I'm going to beat up over time, just simply from playing shows. You know, you move all this stuff around, it gets knocked around, beat around, banged around, and just the wear, just the constant wear from the constant playing. I have a hard time with that. So I kind of started thinking, and this was the point that I kind of jumped off at, because I love EVH guitars. I love EVH products. The oldest guitar I have right now is my 1996 Wolfgang. Right here. This is my 1996 EVH Wolfgang. And I bought this new, and if you've seen my video on it, this guitar's been beat to hell and back. And yeah, it adds character. And it makes the guitar mine. This guitar is me. And all I've done to it over the year, like I said in my videos, I've replaced the frets with stainless steel frets. Everything else on it's original. I mean, these guitars are just built like freaking tanks. Lost the plate on the back. Got a bunch of nicks and scratches here. Got a bad one right here in the body. And it's not a scratch, it's a big indentation where, and I gotta be honest, I don't even know what happened to it. This guitar's seen more shows and been more places than I can shake a stick at. But I bought this brand new in 1996 for $1,600. Bought it off the wall at a guitar store. This is not my favorite color, but at the time, this is the only one they had on the wall. So I went ahead and bought this one. And over the years, you know, of course, I bought my green one, my red one, my blue one. I've had pretty much every color of the Wolfgangs except for the purple. And I was actually just sending a message to a guy. We were on YouTube about this video on this guitar, and we were talking about his dream guitar would be the amber quilt top. Mine would be the purple quilt top they made in 1996. And I found a few, but they're all around $5,000. Now, I wouldn't play that guitar. I would throw it in a case, kick it under the bed, and that's where it would spend his life. And then when I'm long dead and gone, it would go to my daughter, and then my daughter's kids, and so on and so on and so on. But I paid $1,600 for that guitar in 1996. And this is what the guitar looked like when it was brand new. If we look at today's EVH, essentially the same guitar. It's a tobacco burst also, flame maple, yada yada. There are a couple of minor differences between the Peavies and the EVH. Sorry about the text. It's actually, that's the guy texted me that we did the video of the Chinese Wolfgang, and I was texting him to say, dude, when are you getting your pickups? Because I got people wanting to hear the final product. So he's texting me back now. But this is a current new EVH Wolfgang. Extremely similar, obviously. Not a lot of difference in them. There is a little bit of a tonal characteristic between the two. I honestly feel the Peavies are a little more solid and built a little better. That's a personal thing for me from playing both guitars. And of course, you know, we have some different things on here, like the ebony fretboard, so on, so on, so on. But this guitar is $3,300. Mine was $16,000. Okay, we got 24 years difference in between. Well, let's take a look. If we adjusted the $1,600 and we just adjusted it by inflation, what is that same amount of money worth today? Today, that is worth, as you can see here, $2,678.56. Shouldn't this guitar really be $2,700 instead of $3,300? $600 is a big difference on a guitar. That's a huge difference. I don't think, now granted you can't buy the Peavies anymore, new, that is. Actually, you can. I have actually found some new old stock Peavies. Never been played. I ought to grab one of those, but they're asking a fortune for them, especially now that Eddie Van Halen's passed. But shouldn't this guitar be around $2,700? I mean, let's face it, there's nothing really innovative about it. It does have different pickups. He's changed the truss rod, because if I'm not mistaken now, the truss rod goes all the way through the headstock. But that's truly about it. I've played them. I've played them both. They play incredibly similar, except mine has a straight 15-degree radius. This one has a compound radius, 12 to 16. I don't know if this is worth $3,300. $27, I can see. $600 is a big difference on a guitar. That is huge. I can see 27. I don't know if I can see 33. And like I said, when you take the money, I paid 16 for that. When you adjust that up for inflation, we're at $2,700. Okay, well, where's the extra $600 coming in? Well, woods are more expensive. Well, woods, the price of the wood will go up, obviously, as the adjustment for inflation, and that's what that is. We've adjusted the price for inflation to cover the cost of what everything was back then as opposed to what it would be now. So should this guitar be $2,700 and not $33,000? Let's move on. So I had a Suhr. This actually is my Suhr right here. This is a picture of it. Beautiful guitar. This is the Well Blue Burst is what this one is. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with this guitar. These are considered the Super Strats, and I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, that's kind of really what it was, a Super Strat. It wasn't anything particular or anything magnificent to me. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack about that. I know guys who play Suhrs that absolutely love them and think they are the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. They think everything revolves around Suhr. I understand that. Everybody has their shtick. Mine happens to be EVH. Personally, I did not like the guitar. I paid $2,900 for my Suhr. $2,900. That's a lot of damn money for a guitar. $2,900. Played well. It didn't play amazing. Absolutely did not. It played well. The rear pickup on that guitar was phenomenal. The front pickup on it, I thought, was one of the worst sounding, wooden sounding pickups I've ever played in my life. It's, I watched the reviews people do on the neck pickups and how much they love them. I'm the exact opposite. Now, tone is very subjective. What sounds good to me may not sound good to you. The guitar, no doubt, is beautiful, and the craftsmanship was phenomenal. But is that guitar really worth $2,900? Well, check this out. If we move on and we go look at, this is essentially here. Okay, this is the guitar I was actually going to buy. This is the denim. And I actually opted out for the Well Blue at the last minute. I paid $29 for my guitar. And, on a quick note, my guitar had the matching headstock. So, let's look at a new Suhr. It's $32.99, $3,300. And it does not have a matching headstock. If you want the matching headstock, if I'm not mistaken, that is now a $300 option. So now this guitar is $3,600. Here is a USA Jackson Soloist. This one's kind of got me a little mind-boggled. This is a Jackson Soloist SL2Q USA Transparent Green Burst. Look at the price of this thing. That is $4,400 for that guitar. And I can tell you right now, that is not worth $4,400. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. But before we get into this, everybody knows that I've been kind of playing the Ibanez here lately, and I'm kind of really getting off on the Ibanez guitars. This is my Ibanez, my 5320, $2,000. If you haven't seen my review, watch it. This is without a doubt one of the best sounding guitars I've ever heard. This guitar is simply amazing. It plays amazing. It does everything correct to me. It's $2,000. Now, all these guitars that I'm showing you, I have owned. even a Jackson Soloist. Luckily, I got a banging deal on my Jackson Soloist. I walked into this little guitar store, I mean little guitar store, and he had all these cheap guitars up on the wall, except he had a USA Jackson Soloist hanging there. And I was like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? So I go get the owner dude, and I'm like, bro, I said, I'm not trying to be a dick, man, but you got all these $500 guitars and a $3,000 Jackson Soloist hanging on the wall. What the hell? He's like, man, that guitar came in here by mistake. I did not order it. It showed up. And so I kind of got stuck with it. Are you interested in it? I said, well, not for $3,000. He said, tell you what, you give me $1,900, I'll let you take it today. I gave that guy $1,900. Turned right around and sold that guitar in the UK for $25. Shipped that dude overseas to England for $2,500. But I did play it first. Kept it for about 2 weeks before I sold it. It wasn't great. And the pre-Fender Jacksons, love them. Love them. And if you're fortunate enough to find one of the pre-Fender Jacksons in good shape, buy it, because they're just awesome. They're amazing guitars. And I'm not saying Fender just made them into crap, but it's just not the same guitar to me. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't play the same. It doesn't sound the same. But I also did a review on this one, the RG5320, the Cosmic Shadow. And you can watch that review and see my giddiness about this guitar, because this guitar is just simply awesome. It's $2,000. And I will sit here and tell you right now, this guitar at $2,000, and like I said, I have owned these guitars, plays and sounds better than my $2,900 Suhr. Now, I haven't particularly owned this soloist, but I did have the SL1 soloist, the USA, and that $2,000 guitar, that he was selling for $3,000, played and sounded better than this Jackson soloist at $4,400. You've got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. Now, does my Ibanez play and sound better than my EVH? No. Because this guitar is a different beast than the other guitars. Actually, it's also different from the Suhr, the Ibanez is. The Suhr kind of has its own flavor. It is that super strat type of thing, which is really just not my bag. The EVH guitars sound and play absolutely phenomenal, the USA series. I mean, they're just impeccable guitars. They're impeccable guitars. But being if I was on a budget and I wanted to buy a top quality guitar and I could buy one, and if I had $3,500 to spend on it, I got to be honest, I still think I would buy the Ibanez for $2,000 before I'd pay $3,300 for this. Because now I still got $1,500 left over. I can do a lot of stuff with $1,500. And the guitar I've got, I'm going to be incredibly happy with, tone-wise, looks-wise, playability. I'm going to be ecstatic with it. I still think I would buy the Ibanez. And this is not an Ibanez video. Ibanez does not pay me. They do not endorse me in no way, shape, or form. My YouTube channel is still new. And it's not that I'm on an Ibanez kick. I just got to thinking about the last few guitars I've bought, what I've spent on them, for two guitars that I absolutely love, the 5320 and my 1070. I paid less for those two guitars than that Suhr cost, with a matching headstock. And I love those two guitars. Absolutely love those two guitars. So, go looking at another guitar. This is a PRS 24 Floyd. Got to have my Floyds. It's all about the rock and roll, man. In a charcoal burst. A beautiful guitar. Absolutely beautiful guitar. This guitar is $3,860. I have played this guitar, a 24 Custom. I've played this guitar. Played this guitar a few weeks ago. I keep trying to find the one PRS that fits me, and I can never find one. I could just simply will never own a PRS because I just do not find one that works for me, ever. It still did not play better than that $2,000 Ibanez. Honestly, I don't think it sounded better either. I really don't. I know those pickups, I'm pretty sure those pickups are designed, I gotta be honest, I don't know everything there is to know about this particular guitar, but I'm pretty sure those pickups are made and wound at PRS for that guitar. But I gotta tell you, the Fusion Edge pickups that DiMarzio put in that Ibanez, which you can't buy the pickups. Those pickups are made specifically for that guitar. I know. I called DiMarzio. Tried to get them, con them out of selling me a set, and they would not budge. They would not move one iota on those damn pickups. And I wish I could find a PRS that fit me. I really do. I would love to own one at one point. I just cannot find one that makes me happy. Not one. So that's going to be, I guess I'll just never own one, which is okay. A lot of guitars out there to buy. Moving on. So we've determined, okay, $1,600 for my Wolfgang. The new one is $3,300. We looked at what the money is in today's dollars from 16. That would be $2,700. Is the Wolfgang really worth $3,300? Now, I'm a firm believer. No matter what you pay for it, if it's worth it to you and it makes you happy, then it's worth it. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm talking about, in general, are new guitars worth the price? So, let's go back to this Jackson. Simply because it is insanely expensive for this guitar. $4,400? No way. No way. It does not play as good. It does not sound as good as that $2,000 Ibanez. And I will put money on that every single day of the week. I have played this guitar. I have owned an SL1. And I have the 5320. I've played them all. And the Ibanez, and we're talking $2,000 here. And like I said, this isn't, Ibanez. I ain't got shit to do with it. If somebody else made a guitar that sounded and played as well as the Ibanez for $2,000, hell, I'd have probably bought one of those. Nobody else does. Nobody else does. And don't get me wrong, Ibanez has got some crazy, insanely expensive guitars that I don't think I would buy, because for $2,000, I get that guitar. For $1,300, I got my 1070 PBZ. Now, maybe I just got lucky on mine and I got a really, really good one that just does everything extremely well. Which, after buying that striped EVH, I'm due a little bit of luck on a lower end guitar. Because, man, that striped EVH, God, that thing was a bad guitar. But let's take this Jackson Soloist right here. And the reason I'm picking this one is because I'm going to go to Warmoth and I'm going to pick out the parts that match this guitar exactly. Same woods, same neck radiuses, same tremolo, same everything. And let's see what it comes up with at Warmoth. Now, granted, the one at Warmoth will not be a neck through. It will be a bolt-on. This guitar is a neck through. Neck throughs are seriously cool, but they do have their downsides. You break the neck on that guitar, you are in for a lot of money and a lot of work. That's the beauty of bolt-ons. You break the neck, you just unbolt it, buy you a new one and bolt it on. I kind of go both ways, to be honest with you. I do love the feel, the heel-less feel of a good neck through. But bolt-ons, man, they're just... bolt-ons are great. I love bolt-on guitars. So, we're going to work on the Jackson Soloist here. So, we are at $4,400. We'll come back to that. So, let's shoot over to Warmoth. So here we have the body. All right. I went with the blue flame maple instead of whatever color the other one was. All the same routing, all the same holes, all the same everything. And as you can see here, this guitar is $680. And that is a good looking guitar. You gotta admit, that's a nice body. So, let's just go to the trusty iPad here. And, by the way, same wood, same everything on this. All I did was change the top of it. This has a natural binding on it. And all I did was change to a flame maple. I do like quilt, but I also like flame maple really well. I just chose the blue because, honestly, it's the one I picked out. The colors didn't make a difference. So I just went ahead and chose blue. Now we're going to grab a neck. Here's the neck I decided on here. Now, this neck is also a compound radius neck. It's a 25.5-inch scale. I went with a ebony fretboard with dots on the inlays. And I went with a thin, because the Jackson's going to have a relatively thin neck. So I went with a thin profile on the neck and 24 frets. Basically the same exact neck that is on the Jackson. And this one is 533. So let's move on down the line. All right, so now let's look at some pickups. So I'm going to jump over to Marzio, and I'm just going to pick a ceramic pickup out, one I know sounds good. The other one I'm sure has Seymour Duncan's in it, and I can assure you this pickup's going to sound a lot better in this guitar than those Seymour Duncan's. The Utopia, this is Steve Vai's new pickup, and actually I've been on the phone with DiMarzio. This may be the pickup that is going to be going into my 1070. I could not get the Fusion pickups, and after talking to the guy at DiMarzio, we kind of decided that the Fusion may be a touch on the bright side because of the thinness of the 1070. And I also don't want two guitars that sound incredibly similar between the 530 and the 1070. I mean the 5320 and the 1070. So we decided to go with this Utopia, which is down on the highs a little bit because it's a thin, got a little bit more bottom end, decent mids. But I actually may try to change that. I may try to get something that maybe has a little less on the bottom end. I don't know yet. This may be one of those situations where I just have to buy them and try them out. If I don't like them, stick them in something else. Don't know if I'm going with this design or not, but I gotta admit, I kind of like that. I think that's badass looking. But I just picked the Utopia because I would go with a ceramic pickup because I'm really kind of getting in the ceramic thing. After that 5320, I've always liked ceramics. I didn't know that I really liked ceramics till then. So, $149. So we're gonna say $150 plus another $150 because there's two. All right, now we got to pick a mid pickup also because we're going to keep the same configuration. We're just going to grab this True Velvet out of the center here. This is what's in my 1070. This is actually a very, very good pickup. I do like this. It is a straight $55. So we're going to go with that. Now we got to have a bridge. So let's kick over to Floyd. The original Floyd Rose trim system. Works for me for this particular project we're doing. That is a straight up $200. All right, now when I was doing the thing at Warmouth, I actually put in the option that I was going to send them the post for the trim system. So they will have those installed for me, so I don't have to deal with that. So basically at this point, it's just kind of a bolt-on deal. Now what I do know about Warmouth is if you buy the neck and the bodies and you get them together, then from what I understand, about 99% of the time, they bolt right in and you're good to go. You don't have to do any type of shimming or anything. So hopefully that would be the case in this situation, because if it is, well, hang on. So we got to get some wiring, and we got to get a jack, and we got to get some pots. So Burns makes great pots, 10 to 15 bucks. We're gonna need a couple of those. We're gonna need a switch, $15. It's a few bucks for wiring, a few bucks for a jack. Let's just round it up. Let's make it an even $100 for all the parts that go in it. And last but not least, we'll get some locking tuners, and we'll probably just go with the Gota tuners. Let's see. 6-in-line black, these would be cool. We can grab these from StewMac. This will work just fine. So we'll say $76. All right, we are at $1,944. And we're assuming we can build this ourselves. Everything's going to line up well. And basically at that point, it's really kind of plug and play. You just start screwing shit together. If you've never built a guitar, probably not something I would do if I've never done one, but I have, so I'm not worried about that. So I know that I can put that guitar together, and so $1,950. For $1,950, I have literally built verbatim, almost identical, this $4,400 Jackson. All right, so I'm going to get the argument, yeah, but your $2,000 guitar, we'll just say that, but the guitar you just spent $2,000 on, that guitar is not worth $500 on the aftermarket. And you are correct. It is not worth $500 on the aftermarket. It's a guitar you've assembled yourself. You'll be lucky if you get $500 out of it. So let's say $500. You're probably going to get that's a 75%, obviously, reduction that you're going to get back out of it. This SL2Q is $4,400. Now, believe it or not, when I did a search for this yesterday, I could not find a used one of these. Went to eBay and I went to Reverb. I could not find a used one. That kind of amazed me. So I don't know if they just don't sell because, well, I can assure you they don't sell. They're $4,400. I can name a ton of guitars that I would buy before I paid for this. And the only reason I didn't choose this because it's the most expensive, I chose this because I knew I could replicate this guitar verbatim because I know Wormuth makes that body. I know they make that neck. On the EVHs, they just don't make an EVH body. Now I can do a Les Paul, but I just chose this because I thought the price of this was ridiculously high. So for $2,000, I built this guitar. That's $2,300 less. And I built a guitar that is going to be incredibly damn similar to this. And I guarantee you, I can make it play just as well as that guitar. Guaranteed that I can do that. But even at this guitar is $4,400. If you sold that, you would easily take a 50% loss on that. So you're still ahead on this guitar as opposed to $2,000 for this one. But before I spent $2,000 on this and $4,400 on that, I would buy the Ibanez 5320 for $2,000, which will play and sound better than both these guitars. Well, maybe not this one. This one's got some pretty badass shit in it. This one I guarantee you would play and sound better than the Jackson. But for $2,000, I don't have to do any of the work. I buy it, they ship it, I'm good to go. I'm ready to rock. And like I said, this is not an Ibanez video, and I'm not on an Ibanez kick. What got me started on this is the last two guitars I bought, I got $2,300 in. No, $3,300 in total for two amazing guitars. I cannot, and that's the same price as a new Wolfgang. And I got two guitars that I absolutely love. And I love Wolfgangs, I love them. As the day is long, I love them, and I'll stand behind them 1,000,000% the rest of my life. But I got two for the price of one. And I got two guitars that I extremely enjoy. And I'm really getting off on the floating trim systems because, the Wolfgangs are hard mount on the back. They don't bend up. They only bend down. And I understand why he does it that way. But I'm really kind of getting off on the floating trims. So actually, for $3,300, I have two guitars that I am now having more fun on than I am my beloved 1996 EVH Wolfgang that I will never get rid of. Ever will I get rid of that guitar. I die, goes to my daughter. Are high-end guitars worth the price? I've got to be honest. I do not think they are. If you're a collector and you're buying these, exotic guitars, I understand that. If you buy a $5,000 guitar because that's the guitar you've always wanted and you can't wait to buy it and it's killing you, I understand that. I have done that. I've done that very thing. But at the end of the day, are they worth the price? I don't believe they are. Adjusted for inflation, the guitar cost has outgrown the inflation adjustment. Well, people make more money now. People do this, people do that. Woods cost more, this, that, the other. But does it really have to be that? The EVH at $2,700? Actually, I can see that. And I would probably pay that. At $3,300, I don't see it. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. And I love EVH. Not when I know for $2,000 I can buy a brilliant Origin guitar. And what do I mean by Origin guitar? An Origin guitar is a guitar that is manufactured in the country that it was made in. For instance, EVH, USA, Mexico is not Origin. Ibanez, Japan, Indonesia is not Origin. When you can buy an Origin guitar for $2,000 that plays and sounds as well as a 5320, it's kind of hard to see why anybody would buy this unless this just happens to be the one thing that you cannot live without. And Lord knows I get that. So, are guitars, high-end guitars, worth the price? I'm going to say no, because there's too many other guitars out there like the Ibanez 5320 that is every bit, well, I'll sit here and say it's better than this Jackson. but I guarantee you it's as good as that PRS. I guarantee it. I've played them. I gotta be honest. It's a different animal from my EVH, but it plays and sounds as good as my EVH. It's a different vibe. It's a different feel. But it plays and sounds just as good as my EVHs. And it's $1,300 less. So that's just my opinion on are high-end guitars worth it? No, they absolutely are not. You can build you a guitar. Actually, I know a guy who builds guitars. He will build you one. He buys a lot of the parts from Warmoth, kind of puts his own little thing on them, but he does his own finishing on the guitar. And because a lot of times what he'll do is he'll buy them unfinished. I mean, they paint them the whole shebang. But even after he gets it from Warmoth, he does the neck on it. He redresses the frets, relevels everything. And I got to be honest with you, you're going to be looking at about $2,000, $2,500. But it'd be one of the best damn guitars you've ever played in your life. Every time I play one of his guitars, I'm like, Jesus, why haven't I bought one of these yet? Because he's a guy who builds guitars. At the end of the day, it's still not going to have any resale value. That's the only reason I haven't bought one of his yet. If I bought it and I knew I was going to keep it the rest of my life, you're damn right it'd be worth the $2,500 because they're amazing. So you can buy one from Warmoth and make it play just as good as anything else out there on the market. If you have an opinion on it, by all means, let me know because I'd like to hear everybody's opinions, and good or bad. I know I'm going to take a lot of shit for what I said about Suhr. And don't get me wrong, I like Suhr. I think Suhr makes a good guitar. I just think for less money, I can buy a better guitar. And I know I'm going to take some flack over that, and that is quite all right. Because everybody has their own opinion, and I really like John Suhr. He was a luthier for Fender, and he actually got his start. He was making guitars for Mark Knopfler, which is one of the most underrated guitar players ever, in another video coming up. So, in my opinion, save the money. Buy an Ibanez, unless you absolutely hate Ibanez's. And then buy something else. But the whole point of this video is, for half the money of a high-end guitar, I guarantee you can find something else that suits you just as well, that you'll be just as happy with, and save a ton of money on. And like I said, just after playing these guitars, and I got a few comments about my on my Wolfgang videos. A lot of people saying, that I bought the Mexican one and it was just crap. And a lot of people saying that they can only afford the Mexicans because they can't afford USAs, and I get that, especially in this day and age, because guitars have gotten hyper expensive. The whole point of a guitar is to make a guitar for us, the people who buy them, to play them. If you're going to start pricing everything out of our reach, then what the hell? What's the point of making the damn guitar? 90% of the guitar players out there don't make $100,000 a year. I bet 90% of them probably make around 50. And out of that, I bet 90% of those people probably make less than 50. Let's lower the prices on the high-end guitars, guys. Why don't we share this love and so we don't have to go buy, the S-Series PRSs, because maybe we don't want that. Or we don't have to buy the Mexican Series EVHs. Or, for shits and intent, so we don't have to buy the Indonesian series of the Ibanez's. Luckily, Ibanez makes a $2,000 guitar that is amazing. But Ibanez has also got a $4,000 guitar on there that I would love to get my hands on. I'm not paying $4,000 for it. There's no way I'm paying for that. So if all the guitar manufacturers would kind of open their eyes and look at who the actual buying public is, and granted, PRS sells most of their guitars to people who make very good livings, simply because most people can't afford a PRS. Just think if they cut that cost down quite a bit, how many more damn guitars they would sell. And the reason I say that before I get off this, I don't know if you're familiar with Red cameras or not. Red makes an amazing camera. Amazing camera. I love this company. I love this dude. This guy, when he came out with the Red cameras, to buy a Red camera package, when they were starting to hit their popularity, you were looking at $90,000. $90,000 to get the baseline cinema camera package. Several years later, that same camera came out for $45,000. Still a lot of damn money, but we're talking cinema cameras here. Now, granted, you can buy the Reds a lot cheaper now. Technology, shit moves on. But I remember reading an interview with that guy, and they said, well, dude, you cut the price in half. Nobody does that. Why would you do that? He said, you know what? I made my money back. No reason for me to try to rip everybody off. Let other people who can't afford 90 be able to buy one. How do you not fucking love that? That is how it works. PRS, lower the prices a little bit, bro. EVH, come on, man. Open the door for the rest of us so we don't have to buy the secondary line guitars. Let us buy the front line guitars. I've been fortunate. I've been able to buy a lot of top line guitars. I've been lucky. My favorite guitar I got right now is my second line Ibanez 1070 PBZ. I love that damn guitar. $1,300, and I absolutely love that damn guitar. So apparently I've been wrong the whole time. I should have been buying the lesser guitars and said piss on the rest of it. But if they lowered the prices, more people would buy them. They would sell more guitars and they would make more money. That is an absolute fact. I don't care how you want to look at it. That is how it works. The guitars are not set up for exclusivity. They're there to be played. Don't just sell them to the people who make $150,000 a year. Sell them to the people who also make $35,000 a year. Work that shit out, guys. Hope you enjoy the video. Probably gonna get a lot of flack off that one, but you know, it is what it is. If you have any comments, put it down in the comments section. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments section. Please subscribe to the channel. So until then, if you have that guitar, strap that dude on. Strap on. Probably not the best choice of words. Hook that dude up. We'll go with that one. Practice hard, play hard, and rock hard. Until the next time.